Hi everyone, welcome to episode 10 of season 2. This is the Arnivore Podcast. I am your host, also known as Sadie Ruin on Instagram, maybe, and Twitter, and Blue Ruin on Ravelry. And I think that's my Instagram name. It's either Blue Ruin or Sadie Ruin. I'm pretty sure it's Sadie Ruin, but don't quote me on that. My hair is a mess. I just got home from running errands, which was basically, buying my husband's Christmas presents, or the last of them anyway. Part of his Christmas present, of course, happens on Saturday because he works Friday night, and we all know that is the big Star Wars release. So I bought him tickets to Star Wars for Christmas, and I gave them to him early, blah, blah, blah. Very excited, happy man. And I just picked up the last of his presents. I need to wrap them, but currently they are hiding in yarn. Over there, yeah. I have an issue with my finger. So, yeah. I, the royal we, took Petrie into the vet yesterday. She got a shot of antihistamine. They are worried that her mast cell tumor is growing, or the remnants of what they could not remove when they had the surgery is growing. She got her shot of antihistamine, which will make her happier. Of course, having fleas doesn't help. She is now on Comfortitis, whatever it is. All of them are, and they've all been dosed, and I think we may have lost the battle, but we've won the war. Those buggers they're dropping. They're literally falling off of them. Literally, it was disgusting last night. You could tell the stuff had started working because it looked like the blanket that they had been curled up on had an exploded pepper shaker. Which means good things, which means they're dying, which means things are working, and fingers crossed this is the end. Because I would love to see January not have any fleas and, figure out these issues with my health and move on. New year, new fun, new plan. Definitely more new knitting plans. Oh my god. I won't tell you everything I'm planning this episode, but next episode will be, because I'm gonna probably record around Christmas. I don't care if you watch it, it's just something for me to do because, we're boring people. So, 2 minutes and no knitting yet. I remembered my water. I'm not chewing gum right now. Tomorrow marks week 3 weeks of not smoking. And I don't really miss it. I smell it and I think yummy, which is probably not what you're supposed to do, but when I walk past people outside, it's like and I know people hate the smell of smoke, and I know people are allergic to smoke, but to me it makes me think I'm warm and happy. So, whatever. But I have absolutely no desire to do it. I do miss the ritual. Which is, I feel like I should be doing it because that's what I would normally do. More so than I actually need it or want it. It's more like, this is what I would normally do. So it's a routine break. It's breaking routine. And that's probably the hardest thing for me because I'm very into ritual. I like format. In my life. Get up, let dog out, give heart pills, then make coffee, go about with day. When things get screwed up, it stresses me out, and I'm not supposed to be stressed out right now, so fingers crossed that works. So, I keep continuing to do that. I've said so twice, like I'm going to start something. I have a finished object. That's where we're going to start. I finished the vintage brim, which looks slightly green right now. This yellow, okay, this is yellow. It looks kind of green. Maybe if I put it closer. No, it's going to look tinted green. Under certain light, it looks like it's tinted green. Under natural light or in other lights where, I saw it and picked it, it's a very nice gold. And this is for my niece. It's a good thing it's tight on me. It's a little tight on me. She has a smaller head than I do, so it's all good. I hate wearing hats because I look bad unless they're berets. I wear a lot of berets. Now let me just fluff and adjust the hair which is bugging me. Okay, this color is bugging me. I swear, by the time I record next week, there will be a different hair color. Just because it's annoying the bejeebus out of me. Like, seriously, I'm two-toned. I don't like it. I look like a ragamuffin, as my mom would say. You look like a ragamuffin. I know. I know. I've been letting my natural color grow out. And I don't know why, except for the fact that I haven't been well enough or I've been too lazy to dye my hair. And the back here, it's friggin' blonde, okay? If there's one thing I should never be, it's blonde, because then I look even worse. So, I have hair dye. I have hair dye waiting in the wings, I just have to get around to doing it. Maybe tomorrow. So this is my finished object. It's the Vintage Prim hat. I want to say Yarniad. I've made several, so if you've been watching the show, you know who it's by. I knit it on the needle size it called for, which I believe is a 3.5 or it's a 4. I know, I'm giving you such great details. The gray, or the contrast color, the gray, was actually a bit of leftover sock yarn someone had given to me that I put in my scrap pile. Because of the massive blanket I knit for the hubby before he went off to Diego Garcia. The questionable green-orange is Koigu K ppm, and there's a number associated with it. I don't have the tag. FYI, this is part of Flea Invasion, so the tag has long gone in the garbage. And now it will be washed and blocked, and then I can get those off eventually. Because this is going to the niece whose mom I'm making the shawl cowl for that you will see in WIPs, which means I need to finish that and block that before everything can go off to that family. But they all know that I am not 100%. Those are going to be out when they get out, and they really don't care. Pretty much everything everyone said to me is like, don't even bother worrying about it, just get healthy, and we'll call it a draw. So... And that's what happens when your family lives in Canada and you don't. Like, do you think I have enough time to actually pre-think out everything and then shipping? Yeah, no. Because I know Canada Post. It's going to take forever, unless I pay $1 million. And my family doesn't want me to pay $1 million, so it's a draw. Like, seriously. And I just dropped my lid. Well, whatever. If I manage to spill my water, there will be a lot of cursing. A lot of cursing, but I need my water because I need to stay hydrated. Whips. The Mojo returned. The knitting Mojo returned, and I will explain why shortly. So, first up, I will show you. I was watching podcasts. And if there are knitting podcasts you think I should check out that have come out in the last year where I lived under a rock and decided not to know anything, like, seriously, tell me about them, because otherwise I'm not going to find them, and I don't like watching TV. I like doing things while I'm making I like podcasts. Like, I do the Undisclosed, I did Serial, I'm going to start listening to Serial too. I'm really interested in the Bo Bergdahl case that they're taking up. But, so if you have a podcast and I should be watching it, or if you have a friend who has a podcast, or if there's just podcasts, you're like, hey, have you checked this out? If I haven't checked it out, I'll check it out, and yeah, because I mean, there's only so much that people can podcast, and so after I've done my Wolf Farms and my Knit Girls and my Knit One Heart Twos, the standards that have been around forever, I need more. I'm like a crack baby or something. I suppose that's inflammatory somehow. I am like a junkie running dry, regardless, when it comes to podcasts. So, you've seen this one before, and the Knitting Mojo returned, and apparently it returned enough that I can do like knit two and crossover and stuff and short rows very poorly, but I can do them. Thankfully, there's only like 5 short rows in this, but it is the Star Shower Cowl. There's a picture of it on a very tiny lady. I'm knitting it right now, so I can tell you that lady is tiny based off of what I've done. And it's going to block out bigger because there is a lace portion here. Let's see if I... There's the schematic. Bleep. there it is on the lady. It's got like a kind of a cowl neck, a floof cowl neck, and then there's like the divided portion at the back, and then you join. Tummy grumblings. Why is the tummy grumblings? Better stop. I need to make dinner soon. And this is Star Shower by the Yarniad Hilary Smith Callis, Callis, Callis. Here we go. Calls for a US 4. I'm either using a 3 or a 4. Honestly, I didn't check. I used the exact same one I used on the hat. Or no. Different story, different thing. Never mind, I am using a US 4 because I started this before I started the other thing. There's another thing. See, I'm very disjointed. Why are you even trusting me? English is my first language and I still don't master it. Okay, so I have joined. The last time you saw it, I had like just joined, so I've got basically a repeat done. I've got 2 more repeats to go. And they have you flip it around and work on the wrong side, and then you do a wrap turn, and then you work on the inside, which is where the wrap turns come in. You do them for each different piece once you knit it in the round, but it seems to be easy enough. One thing that is vaguely concerning to me, here, I'll see if I can, yeah, there you go. Okay, see these ones? These ones were knit flat. As soon as I started knitting in the round, the holes became more open, but I think that these ones will open up with blocking because it is the exact same pattern. It's the exact same needles. My gauge didn't change. For the ones I knit in the round, the holes seem more open to me. And this is for my sister-in-law, Stacy. And she personally requested some sort of cowly-shawly thing, ponchish thing. I showed her the picture of this. She said, I love it, and that's where this began. I am knitting it. I'm in my 2nd Avenue swag bag, which, is it 2nd Avenue swag? There's a tag, I can tell you. Yes, it's 2nd Avenue swag, which, if you order from them, they've got these little key rings on the inside that hold a notions pouch, which is ingenious. Let me tell you, because if you're getting a project ready and you know you need to put place markers in at some point, or if you want to throw your chibi in there, you can, and you can just go, and you don't have to worry about digging things and falling around in your bag or whatever. So I'm knitting this out of the Plucky Knitter in their Oxford base, which is 430 yards of a 75-25 merino cashmere in the 24 Blackbirds for Church Mouse Yarns. Honestly, can I get honest with you for a minute? Oh, and I see I kept the card. This is a card for 2nd Avenue swag bags by Shannon Bisden Fenimore. There you go. It's 2nd Avenue swag.etsy.com. Okay, so this is a 75-25 cashmere. This feels like 75-25 superwash merino nylon. It does not feel like cashmere. And it could be the colorway, it could be that there's too much dye in this, but it hasn't come off of my hands, so I don't know. But it does not feel like cashmere. It feels kind of crunchy. And I'm not sure if that's a plucky thing or what. Like, I love the color. The color is amazing. This is pretty true. It's kind of a gray-black. I don't know. I just don't know. There's, like, if it hadn't been the right color and what I needed, I probably would have gone with something else. Not to disparage plucky, because I know a lot of people who are pluck crazy, and I get it. Does it soften when I wash it? Like, I paid $36 for this skate of yarn. Why does it feel like I'm knitting with Patton's Croy? I could have got Patton's Croy. Well, maybe not, because for some reason the Joann's and Michael's here. First of all, Michael's doesn't even have stock yarn here, and Joann's, well, they're iffy. But I don't know. I'm unimpressed with the softness. And maybe someone, because I know my Minnesota knitters out there are gasping because they're plucky fiends. But tell me, does it soften after washing, or is this crinkly shit like not usual, or am I just supposed to suck it up? Because, you know, Volmisa has that kind of stringy feel to it because it's 6 plies, but you deal with it because the color is amazing, even though it can be kind of splitty, which doesn't really bug me because it doesn't feel like this. Like, did I get a bunk skein? What's up with this? I would not pay I paid $36 for this. It should be friggin' soft. It's cashmere. Okay? Dream in Color cashmere, that shit is butter. And I said shit twice, so I'm sorry if you have children in the room. Annette, if you're watching, I'm sorry if Willow has to deal with this. Although you have said that JR is pretty profound in his statements, so I'm not too worried, but I'm sorry if you have children. I'm trying to censor myself, but I'm curious and I'm kind of lost. It's not that I don't like it. I hope it softens up with wear. I know my sister-in-law won't care. She'll love it, but kind of bugs me. It should feel softer. It should feel softer. It's probably all the Trailer Park Boys I've watched lately. We mainlined like 9 seasons of Trailer Park Boys because they're on Netflix and it's a Canadian show. It's really, really adult, so don't watch it with children. But if you like perverse humor, you may enjoy it. It's like corner gas with more swearing and weed and alcohol and a trailer park. I love it, but that's because it's like home for me. It's like going home. The TPB. And my husband's like, this explains so much about you. Apparently, if you watch Trailer Park Boys, you will understand more Canadianisms than you ever thought you would. Between that and Corner Gas, he really has gotten a new respect for my level of crazy. So, as I was saying, the Knitting Mojo returned, partially because it was late one night on Instagram, and someone who I've known for a while, via Instagram, Ravelry, or even, I think we were even on Plurk. I think she was also on Plurk. But she posted a picture that she had put up a new episode. And I was like, I didn't know you had a podcast, because I live under a rock. And I went and I watched the first episode, or the newest episode, the episode she posted about. And it was like crack. So I went back to number 1 and started watching from there. And over the course of the weekend, binge watched all 25 episodes she has up. So, and that really kickstarted my knitting mojo, okay? Like, I wanted to knit things more than I have wanted to knit things in probably the past month. And I wanted to spin things, which has been a long time since I wanted to do that, although I won't. There will be no spinning until at least February, which is kind of sad. But I want to make sure that everything is out of here before I break out the fiber, which is safely ensconced in its little caves. But yeah, like, totally kickstarted my knitting mojo. So I have to say a big thanks to Tracy, who is also Schnuffeltier. Did I say that right? Because she says it every episode, and I'm like, I have been saying that wrong for so long. It's Schnuffeltier, right? I'm going to put the emphasis on the wrong part. Just like I didn't know that opal is said opal. I just love it. I am obsessed with it. I love watching her give her cat a talking to in German. It's just entertaining. And her English is amazing. Like, there were a couple where I was like, okay. But, like, just one or two off words or things she doesn't know the English translation for. But for the most part, like, I would say I don't even notice that she is not a native English speaker. Onesie. A onesie. A baby body for Germany is a onesie. Just so you know, because you were asking at one point, if anyone hasn't told you, and that's kind of humorous. But see, in university, I had a professor. I actually had 2 professors. I had one professor that was from German Austria, Sperlich. He was pretty intense. And he would always bounce back and forth between English and German. And then my close friend, who was a professor who I never took a class from, Professor Kuling, she's currently doing research in Papua New Guinea. She's like the head person on the Dobu and the Kula Exchange. If you're in Australia or New Zealand and you see the opportunity to go to one of her talks, she is amazing and I love her and we've been friends for a long time. But she sounds a lot like Tracy does, so it's kind of like having my friends around. That, and Tracy's just a lot like me, and the book reviews are awesome because it's like, I know I don't need to read that. Thank you so much. Or I wish that was in English because I would probably read that. So, and getting to know the German indies and stuff. Although I did go look at on Dewanda or Devenda. I'm going to say it wrong. It's the German equivalent of Etsy. And then I hit the British translation button and I still can't figure it out. They don't have PayPal. Or it doesn't look like they have PayPal. So that kind of screws it for anybody who's not in the EU. Because I don't know how to do an EU bank transfer. And I don't even know if it's possible. But the German indies she showcases are beautiful. And they make me want to go buy things. Which is really bad for me. But yeah. No. I could rave about her for another 5 minutes and it would, like, seriously kickstarted my mojo back, made me want to knit all the things and spin all the things. Her podcast is called The Passionate Spinner. And there's a WordPress blog for it, and there's a YouTube, and there's a Ravelry group. So the way I found it, because I didn't know of any link, and Schnuffeltier really, like, I can't spell it when I'm not staring at it. Although she does have a little sign she holds up, which makes life a lot easier. But if you go to YouTube and you type in Passionit, Passioknit, it'll bring it up, and then you can just go to the channel and watch the videos. Seriously, go watch the videos. I don't even care if you finish watching my episode, just go watch her videos, because you'll love them. Okay? Okay, so she had kickstarted that, and then I got a text from my mother-in-law, who is also a very evil enabler. Between the two of them, I should have known I was screwed. So she said, have you picked out your SSK knitting yet? Because, of course, SSK is coming up, and the knit-alongs are very important to me because I want all the prizes, and I want all the tickets, and I want to do all the things, even though I have absolutely no mojo. The mojo is returning, which means that, Tracy, you have to keep podcasting. I know you stopped for like 5 months because you had a kid, and I respect that, but still, now you have to keep up the crack to me. So mother-in-law texted me that, and I was like, oh, this is the Rami knit-along, Rami Rosemary Hill, who makes those huge, elaborate, lacy things, right? The huge, elaborate, lacy things that I was like, okay. It started at the end of November. It's like the middle end of December. I've got Christmas stuff to finish. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting it done. She's like, well, you have till the end of January. I'm like, can't knit a shawl out of lace. My brain doesn't work that way right now. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry at all. You can. She's got little things. Go look, little things. So I looked, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, little things. And then I saw, it's called Ellipsis, which I should know better because emo, eat my oxygen. Can I call you emo? I know only people who are your friends call you emo, but considering we're twins now, evil mastermind twins in different zones of the world, like, I feel as though I can call you emo. Subcoccular even. If you don't want me to, or if that's being too forward, I apologize as a Canadian. So anyway, emo was knitting this, and eat my oxygen. Again, apologies. I should have known, but I haven't been thinking. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's been a lot of, like, medications in my life that throw my brain power off. And so this is Ellipses. It's a simple little pattern for a shawl. Now, I probably don't have to explain to you the way SSK works, right? So you get your knit along. You complete your knit along and you get so many per yardage, right? But if you use vendor yarn, you get extra. And if you use hand spun by a vendor, then you get extra on top of that. Well, let me tell you. Knitty and Color, who is yet another one of my many crack things. Like, I can't get enough of her. By the way, she has Christmas minis and such, so you should probably go and steal them all. Or buy them all. Just buy the whole thing. I guarantee you'll love it. And ironically, Eat My Oxygen, also knitting out of Handspun Knitty and Color. I had this Knitty and Color, which is knittyandcolor. Well, no. She's an Etsy shop, but you can go to knittyandcolor.com. Knittyandcolor.com. My camera's not going to focus on it, and I don't care. This is Pandora's Aquarium, which I bought for a spin along with the 2 Tangled Skeins, TWO, a while back. A very long while back, because I spun this on my Louette, which I've since sold, and I did it in Canada in my house. I'm pretty sure this predates my husband. That's how long I've had this. It's Merino Silk 80/20, and it's 526 yards. There's the back there, 4 ounces. I paid $20. And I've been waiting for the perfect pattern for this, because it is kind of like a neon. If Tori Amos had an acid trip, like, it's tiptoeing through Tori Amos's acid trip, basically. This is what Pandora's Aquarium, the song, should ultimately become in a fiber. And I had spun it. It was the most yardage I'd ever gotten on my Louette. Like, it was one of those Hail Mary kind of moments. So I was like, yes, this is perfect. That pattern will look great in handspun. It sings. It's going to be awesome. So this is either a 3 or a 4. I didn't actually look. This is what, see, I said it's on whatever needle the hat was on. This one's on whatever needle the hat was on. Apparently I have hiccups. How do I have hiccups? I've done nothing. I'll take a sip. So this is on, it's either a 3.5 or a 4. I can't remember. And I didn't really care what the pattern called for, because this is more of a sport to heavy fingering, and I was just like, you know what, it's an easy pattern, it's not going to affect anything, I'm just going to knit until I don't feel like it, and then I'm going to make tassels. So this is how far I've gotten, and this is again all Tracy's fault. I cast this on while watching her. I knit it only while watching her. Now I have to knit it while doing other things, like watching other podcasts, which I've done. So that's how far I've gotten. And it's a very simple pattern. It's garter, and there's some eyelets, and it slowly gets bigger. It's kind of like a hitchhiker. It's genius. Now, you do have to buy 3 patterns to get this one, but the other 2 patterns are cute, and it's $7 for all 3. So really, you're not at a loss, because you get 3 patterns for $7. I mean, I probably wouldn't have paid $7 for just the one pattern, but I get 3, and I get the feeling I'd knit the other 2 if I felt like it, so. And Rami is a teacher, and this is how much I have left. So it's going to be relatively big, because I'm going to go for quite a while. Like, I mean, it has folded, it's buckled in on itself from being pulled, but there's a lot of it. And I love it so much that it has to be used right to the end. I may actually make tassels off the back, just so, it does say to do the tassels first, but I didn't because I wanted to start knitting. Very phlegmy. It is rainy season here, and while I miss the snow, and I don't miss the snow at the same time, it seems to make my sinuses want to drain constantly. So I'm going to try and use this all up. I may make the tassels off the back just so I know how much I'm going to need for tassels, because you can really end it basically wherever you want. Again, memorized it, didn't need to look at the iPad, could go right back to watching all of the episodes. All of them. So this is my other thing on the needles. I do want to dig out my socks and start knitting on them, and because, yeah. Mojo is returning, and I am so glad to see it come back. And it could also be because now I know that the fleas are dying. We're at the end. And there's probably one more deep clean of the house, one more steam clean, and we'll probably be done. And they will be on Comfortus for the rest of their little naturally born lives. Or until we go somewhere that has snow again and doesn't have this horrible problem. And I can go back to worrying about ticks, which are the big problem in Minnesota. So, I'm moving into pointy things, so if you don't care about the cross stitch, now is your time to boogie. If you do care about the cross stitch, then stick around. Jan, I'm looking at you, because I know I promised you I would show you how to do a Q-snap thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that momentarily. So, as you know, I was making some ornaments out of this. This is the Enjoy Cross Stitch at Christmas 2015 issue. It came with things to make ornaments. See these ornaments on the front here? I can't actually open it and show you because there's this whole thing about not showing patterns, and the patterns are on the exact same pages, and there's no way I can get around it. But if you look at this, it shows you most of them. I did the angel, the dog, the gingerbread man, and the reindeer. And they're all in here, and it did come with the stuff to make them. You could also make cards, but let me just say, after 4 of these, I'm burnt out. I'm going to make different ornaments for other people, but I wanted to make the 4 that I knew I had the Ada that came with it for. So, and these are not complete, they're finished stitching. I haven't FFO'd them, fully finished them. So here's the little fairy. There's felt, there's a felt backing, and there's a felt ring here, so I'm going to be putting a little bit of ribbon as a hanger on it. And so there's that one I finished, which you've seen before. That one was for my aunt. This one is for my uncle, and I'm just going to sew these on my sewing machine. I was going to hand sew them, and I'm like, I am not that good at hand sewing. I wouldn't hand sew, I wouldn't hand quilt. I don't want to do anything by hand because I suck. And I don't suck, it's not my, I am not proficient enough that I am comfortable doing it and giving it away to people. Here's the little ribbons they gave you to go with them. So these are going to go on them to make them tree ornaments. This one is for my sister-in-law. It's a puppy. And I finished this one this week. And then this is supposed to be a card, but I'm just going to like glue it together so that it looks like a little Christmas ornament, and I'm going to put some ribbon on it and whatnot. And this is the reindeer. I said I was working on it last week. I finished it. And this is, like I said, it's an aperture card. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but so basically an aperture card. It's folded for you and it has a cutout. That's the aperture. The aperture is right here. So you put your piece in there, and you're supposed to fold this like you use double-sided tape. You fold over one piece, and then you've got your pretty card, and then you've got your pretty back, and then you write whatever you want on here. I'm just going to glue it all together and make it into an ornament, and I don't think, because this one's for my brother, I don't think he'll be any the wiser. I think he'll just think it's cute, and it's Rudolph. So I finished those. I actually finished them, and I finished the dog, and then I backstitched it, and then I cut everything out, and then I pinned everything last night. So this is really just barely finished. Just barely. And once these are done, I can send off to my other brother's family and my aunt and my uncle, because then they'll be done. The owl, which you have seen, and look, I brought the picture. It's by Suzanne Giesman. It's a Heaven and Earth design. It's the mini Harumph. I'm sorry, my hand is shaky. I'm shaky. I'm low on iron. I apologize. It has 88 colors. I am not doing it on 25 count. I'm doing it on 22 count, so mine will be bigger than this calls for. It's massive. Heaven and Earth Designs, www.heavenandearthdesigns.com. They're having a 35% off sale right now. You can download PDFs in either the regular format or pay a little bit more and have a bigger format. I find their regular format is big enough for me, but it's massive. It's an undertaking of labor. It's labor of love. This is a level of crazy that I don't know anyone else would want to prescribe to except for maybe Bev. And Patty. Patty would too. I think Patty has one. This is like the uber lace knitting of cross stitch, I imagine, because it's nuts. But that's the picture. The artwork is by Susan Giesman. It's a full coverage piece, so it's going to cover, like, there's no zero space. I showed you last time. This is how far I've gotten. I have used marker or a pen, or the wash off pen, which I did test first on it to mark off every 10. So, and I only gridded some of it. I haven't gridded all of it. This fabric is very stiff still. I haven't worked with it very much, so it's still very stiff. But I'm liking it. I am excited to go back to it now that these Christmas cards are done, because I was kind of not letting myself do anything but Christmas cards until they were done this last week. So, yeah. I'm going to take off the 2 needles and put them on my mug rug here. And, okay. This is on a Q-snap. I have to double check. Yeah, some work on owl show Q-snap, and that's all my notes. Now, Jan, who does the Knit Sense podcast, has recently got back into stitching, or maybe just into stitching in general. Again, I've watched Under the Influence of Medication. You just have to be kind with me. And she recently got a Q-snap, and it's completely messing with her business. And it can. I lucked out in that I had people in my social circle, like my aunt who does a lot of hand quilting, who uses these for hand quilting, explain to me, okay, so you've got it on, right? And I mean, you can worry about having it centered. I don't, usually. This one I did because of the thing. But when you go to take them off, okay, for a new Q-snap, they're going to snap on really bad, like really tightly. They loosen with wear. Eventually you have to buy the new cover thingies for your Q-snaps if you are so inclined. But otherwise you end up with, they loosen up quite a bit. So, if you want to take them off, you don't, I've never slid a Q-snap. Maybe there are people who slide them, but I never have in all of the things I've used them for. So you go, turn them in. That's what I start with. And then, this is going to be hard to show you. I take my finger and I put it under this side, and I put it under the one at the back, and I push them up. See? So once I've pushed them up, you get that, and then I just peel it off. And that's how I do it for all of them, because I tilt them to be non-taunt first. They don't argue with me as much. So, Jan, I don't slide, I twist in, and then I pull off. This is a fairly new Q-snap, so it is pretty tight. And of course, you can turn to tighten them. It has nothing to do with the masking tape you put around it. And you can put masking tape, you can put painter's tape around it. Those are valid options that a lot of people use. Or you can, I haven't done it on this one because I was too lazy, but you can take metallic sulky thread you can get in like Joann's or whatever, and just whip stitch around it, and that'll keep your ends from fraying. I did that on the bat, where I just whip stitched around. You go like 5 or so stitches down, and just every inch or so whip around, and that keeps everything in. But I've seen a lot of people use tape, masking tape, painter's tape, and it does not affect the Q-snap. The fact of the matter is, Jan, your Q-snap is really new, and the more you do it, the more it will come off. So I said I was going to show you that, and I did. I'm not going to take it all the way off of this, because then I have to line it back up, and that'll be a beast. And of course, my minder from Gina's Unique Boutique, of which I have 3. I have 3 of my own. 3 of my own. And that's really all I've been up to this week. I got a lot of knitting done. I was really proud of that. I'm still dealing with the fleas. I'm still dealing with not being in the best of health. I have a procedure going down on the 23rd, which means there might be a little wiggle room on whether or not I record until after I feel better. But we live, we learn. Next episode, I'm going to discuss my plans for the new year, which include various starts that I want to start. Again, I'm doing the Stitch Mania once a month start, and I've decided that I'm going to do a thing where I'm going to either finish or frog a whip every month. Because they can either sit, they can languish as long as they can languish, but I'm sick and tired of them languishing. if I'm going to finish it, I'm going to finish it. If I'm not going to, I may as well rip it out and have the yarn for something else. That's my big thing. I'm going to be doing a lot of stash dieting until SSK, and I'm going to tackle my whips. I'm going to try and bang them out. One every month. It doesn't matter if it gets finished that month, but I need to pick it up, back up, and work on it collectively, or I need to just stop and rip it out. And some things, it's going to be painful. It's going to be really painful, but some of them just need to be ripped out, or I need to finish them. Because life's too short to knit patterns you don't want. And sometimes your choices change. Sometimes your taste changes. That doesn't mean the yarn should languish away. Or, if it's acrylic, I'll just chuck it because it's acrylic and I really don't care. But that's my big thing. And I've shown you everything I have. I hope you have a great week ahead. I hope everybody who is Jewish had an awesome Hanukkah. I hope everyone who celebrates Kwanzaa, which is coming up, and Christmas, which is coming up, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Kwanzaa, or whatever the correct nomenclature for Kwanzaa is. If you celebrate Yule, have a festive Yule, a wonderful Yule. May your grog be plentiful. If you're into Festivus for the rest of us, I hope you get good gifts and have a lot of fun. May you have a lot of food and fun and family, because that's really all this season should be about. And I will check everybody later. Bye.